Hi there, everybody. Welcome to another one of my Own Your Expertise interviews. I'm Emily Crookston, owner and decider of all things at the Pocket PhD. I'm the ghostwriter for Rebels, Renegades, and Mavericks, and I love helping experts with big ideas get those ideas out of their heads and into the hands of their fans. Today, I'm sitting down with Evan Staehle. Evan is the co-founder of Staehle Media. He and his team produce videos and podcasts for solopreneurs and brands. Evan, thank you for speaking with me. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about who you work with and what you do?
Yeah, absolutely. We primarily help solopreneurs and brands. Our main mission is to help them generate more leads for their business. And we do that by helping them create engaging video and audio quality for their customers. That's our focus.
I'm always talking about how people need content. Usually, my stuff's written, but obviously video is huge and, it's getting bigger. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
I think I heard something about how YouTube is like the #2 search engine, after Google or something, right? All right, cool. Let's get into some questions. So I love to ask this question. It's one of my favorites. What's your die in a ditch belief? And for the audience, a die in a ditch belief is something you've thought about pretty long and hard. It's something you might be willing to defend if someone pressed you on it. Might be a little controversial, but it's something that sort of draws a line in the sand for you. So tell us, Evan, what's your die in a ditch belief?
Yeah, so perhaps this may have been controversial a couple of years ago. And now I think it's pretty commonplace. I think most people would go along with it, is that video content especially is absolutely necessary if you want to grow your business. And like I said, I think it's prevalent enough that most people get that now. A couple of years ago, people have been like, what? No, I don't need that. But yeah, I mean, like eventually with any business, you can only go so far with other methods. Not knocking other methods of marketing, but I think video is unique in that it allows you to easily build that know, like, and trust factor pretty quickly with prospects, because they can see your face, they can hear you talk, they can kind of get to know who you are and what you're about through video.
Yeah.
And there's other forms of marketing that are great, but I feel like video can capture all that pretty quickly, more so than like written, which is great again. But I think just being able to see it in the human face, talking about what you're up to, what you're doing, how you can provide value is so much more impactful than a different form of marketing. So
yeah, I think you're right. Like there's something about the visual and the auditory at the same time that connects, right? And I think you're right. You can get an impression of a person from 30 seconds of watching them on video, or probably less than that. But with written, you've got to read a few pieces of somebody's before you have more of an idea of their style and how they're talking about things. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, I love, thinking of it as like impossible to grow your business without video. That's something like I started this series a year ago or so. And up until that point, I've always been like, I hate video. I hate being on the camera, like in so many videos. And I think a lot of it was this pressure to like come up with something interesting to say and then get in front of a camera by myself and like talk to my computer, which always feels like really awkward. But now that I've found this interview style where I can bring another person in, it makes it so much more comfortable to have a conversation with somebody. So I think that's been a huge mindset shift for me. And so now I'm like, yeah, I can see the value of video. I can see what you're saying now.
Yeah. And it's like you said too, is that YouTube is the second largest search engine. So there's tons of people who are on there searching for stuff. So that's a whole other like digital outlet where you can find new potential customers because they're already looking for stuff. So there's plenty of opportunity for putting out video on YouTube alone, and because people are looking for stuff. So why not give it to them?
Well, I'm curious, do you have like a couple tips for people who are just getting into video or just thinking about getting started?
First tip I can give is literally just get started. I think that's one of the hardest things to do, is actually just start with it. I think the biggest roadblock for people getting started for the first time is they obsess over like perfectionism, like the quality, like, oh, it has to be really good, and I got to buy this really expensive camera, and I got to have all the stuff figured out. And it's good to have a plan. It's good to kind of think about that beforehand. But really, you just got to jump in and do it at some point. And really, you don't have to have a fancy camera, because I think most people they can forgive like mediocre video quality. Most people they're not going to like scroll past or like disengage because your video isn't the best it could be. Most people just don't care because they're not like video professionals anyway. I think people overthink video like way too much. And so that stops them from just jumping in, because there's just so many things like I have to figure out before I do it.
Yeah.
So just jump in and do it. Another
Right.
one would be to kind of help with that is to plan out your videos beforehand, like topics what you want to say on video. Even like scripts, maybe not necessarily word for word scripts, but at least some talking points just to kind of get at what you want to say and that you have it written out. You can look at it and kind of get prepared before you get on camera to know what you want to say. That can be helpful too. Just having something of a game plan, so even if it's really simple, it doesn't have to be super strict and you can't deviate from it or anything like that. But having a roadmap for yourself can really kind of create that confidence to help you get going and keep it going if you kind of know what you're doing and how you're going to do it. But if all you have is a smartphone, that's good enough. If that's all you got, just use what you got.
Yeah. And you're so right that people will forgive poor video quality. I think the audio is the tougher part, right? I think it's harder for people to listen to a video if it's cutting in and out, or if the audio is like, if there's some kind of tick in the back, right?
Yeah, definitely.
The audio quality is more key, but I think even there, you don't need a expensive microphone, right? You can handle it with
Oh yeah. Most like USB microphones nowadays are like under $100. So you can find something pretty good that'll give you good quality for like under $100. So
cool.
If you're gonna invest in anything equipment wise, I would say start with a nice microphone first before you get like a fancy camera. Because audio quality is everything, and you're right, people won't forgive bad audio.
How have you learned to translate your expertise for others?
Yeah, in some cases it's literal translation. In video production, there's a lot of like technical terms, and if you're not in the industry, then you're just not going to know them. So part of that is actually doing the translating of trying to break down technical terms like camera terms and stuff into ways people can understand. Because most people don't know what like frames per second is, or 4K resolution. I mean, some people do, but there's other like crazy technical stuff that you just got to break down in layman's terms, so to speak, to help them understand what it means. The other translation, if I can call it translation, is trying to communicate the end goal of video for people, because a lot of people, they don't either they don't know what it can do for them, or they just don't know how to get it to do what they want it to do for them. So being able to translate like, this type of video can get you this kind of result for your business. So like we focus on lead gen a lot. So kind of our focus is trying to create specific types of videos. Like we like to do original video series. One of our main products we push is it's what we think is one of the best ways to get lead gen going in your sales pipeline. So thinking about that, like I want to do this type of video. How can that get me this result? This X number of leads a month, or let people know I exist, or So that's something that's a mind shift for a lot of people, because there's a lot of the mentality, especially with like content as a whole, is just get it out there, check the box, move on with my life. But it's important to really think about like the strategy behind it, and like how you're going to get a return on all this that you're spending and time that you're investing in doing this. Because you don't want to just like throw spaghetti at a wall, and hope something sticks. You want to be intentional with your content, because it's all a waste if you're not being intentional with it.
I think a lot of service-based businesses like yours, I think they don't always think about how much clients need help translating the why, or answering the why question for the services that we're creating for them. So being able to do that is huge, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I would even say it can be a giant moneymaker for you if you're a service-based business and you're offering specific service. If you can translate how your services get specific results for your clients, that's like cha-ching.
Right. Yes, everyone wants
maybe not
results.
Like millions, but that'll help. Like if you can say, hey, I can solve your problem this way with this service, that's the money magic right there.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, Evan, I've really enjoyed this conversation. Thanks so much. Please let us know. Please let people know where they can find out more about you.
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. That's where I like to hang out. I try to do it every day. So I'm pretty active on there, posting content, and I'm usually sharing about my expertise in what I do, which is usually video marketing, audience building, and creating that kind of content. So if you want to learn more about that for your business, find me on LinkedIn, connect, and look out for that content that I create.